not a drill. Repeat. Action station. Action station. Set condition 1 throughout the ship. This is not a drill.
Previously on Battlestar Galactica Deadlock.
The ceasefire lasted the full year that Latches agreed to. No longer, no less. The exact minute the agreement expired, Cylon fleets attacked the Cobalt Alliance colonies. We fought back where we could, had some hard years grounded before we got Colonial Fleet back in the air. Then we went and retrieved Galactica, pulled her right out of the water where we left her, and spent the last year building her back up. Colonial Fleet is now a branch of the Ministry of Defense, reformed by the people who've been fighting the ground war since Caprica City was first bombarded. Jubal Sarkis leads the Fleet Admiralty, and he's made sure the Quorum knows its place this time around. Without Colonial Fleet, there is no war, no resistance, and no freedom. Galactica has been reinstated to the head of BSG 75 under my command. We are, once again, one of many in the shield against the Cylon. We have a second chance and bear the full weight of the 12 colonies. From today, we do not lose to the Toasters. Somehow, we've kept this whole Galactica refit away from Cylon intel. As much as I'd like to enlighten them, over half this crew has rotated in from outside of BSG 75. Admiralty wants marks on the board before we risk our people out on the front line. If you would, Mr. Singh.
Sir, a Cylon recon group in the Berry Center almost outed us a few times while Galactica was being put back together. Our first live operation is to remove the scout fleet from the Caprica-Gemini binary.
Commander, I know you being here may muddy the waters. Some of the old crew still hold you and Kane accountable for what happened to us at Caprica. But Sarkis wants Galactica back in Colonial Fleet, and I need your experience on this deck. Mr. Singh, all orders from the operational commander are heard as if they come out of my own mouth. Understood?
Yes, sir. Battlestar Group 75 is ready when you are, Commander. Admiral on deck.
At ease. Looks like you've settled in just fine, Commander. Good. Because I needed Galactica in this war yesterday.
I hope you got enough rack time, Commander. We've got an emergency playing out on Pallas, and Galactica needs to go be their hero. Mr. Singh will bring you up to speed.
Multiple explosions were detected across the surface of Pallas roughly 6 hours ago. Since then, over half of their pump stations have gone offline. The cause hasn't yet been confirmed, but safe money is on sabotage by the Toasters.
I understand Pallas core control is mostly back online. What do the numbers on the ground look like, Doctor?
The casualties are at 12,000, with another 20 on site still at risk.
Merciful Ares.
Nothing merciful about it. Question is, what's got Lachesis so riled up it decides to swing low and target the goddamn air we breathe?
Clothis was adaptable and manipulative, but Lachesis expected us to be squashed under its boot by now. Something's changed. It's rushing.
Perhaps it sees no other option. External pressures may be forcing it to act rashly.
Depopulation is a hell of a shortcut. You folks are going to want to figure this out fast. If Lachesis wants ecological warfare, things are going to get biblical real quick.
After what happened at Pallas, Ministry thinks Lachesis will take another shot at ecology-scale warfare. That scenario falls way outside of anyone's know-how around here, so we're going to recruit the best in the field. You'll have heard of Piotr Magnus, but maybe not as much about his employer. The Aspis Foundation holds the only dataset that survived the original Cobalt-forming operations. They run a tight interference on anyone trying to revive the market.
Take it with a grain of salt, kid. You know that thing fracked us around on Daedalus, too. Just ask the commander.
Speak of the devil. Sir, you probably need to hear this as well. We intercepted the packet at Aquaria, but it took us this long to open it. The encryption was thick. Here, take a listen.
I cannot stand by and watch you pull apart his work. This station is heresy. Their kind may be inbred, slavering fools, but his divine intent is manifest in their form. They are key to our growth, not a virus to be burned away and...
There's a set of coordinates in amongst the metadata, and it's not for the transmitter or receiver. It used to do that, right, Commander? Klothos would backchannel intel just like this to Daedalus. Scouts got back 15 ago. They found unidentified fighters abandoned at the recon zone. Not Colonial, and not Cylon that we can tell either. No other contacts at the site, but one of the ECOs reported another instance of the frequency. He's currently with Coddle for severe headaches.
I'm gonna need more than that, Lieutenant.
We might be able to hone in on the transmission if we make adjustments to the Raptor's narrowband receivers. Then it'd just be a matter of getting it to the right place to intercept. And hope the crew doesn't lose their hearing.
Launch Raptors. And get me a camera with Mark 1 eyeball on those abandoned fighters. I want to see these birds for myself.
Scans are clean. Nothing comes back from radiology or ECM. Can't even find an IFF transponder. And I've never seen a Colonial fighter that looks like that.
They don't look Cylon either.
They're Cabolian.
Pull the other one. It's got knobs on.
The Lord of the Hunt rode with Snake's twin of Fang. Because of them, his sister refused, for their venom made her prey inedible. Book of Dodona. Look at these fighters. They could only have come from Galleon.
Now that we know exactly what we're looking for, it wasn't that hard to find another instance of the frequency. At least on its broad spectrum. We'll still need one of the kitted Raptors to get an exact location. But with a third set of coordinates, we can work out exactly where the transmission is coming from.
We know where it's coming from. The ship that brought the 12 colonies to Cyranus. Galleon.
Whatever is there, we need to remember our primary objective. Find the source and figure out how it relates to Lachesis and its sudden interest in biological warfare. Scouts have confirmed there's a man-made construct at the source of the transmission. It's neither Colonial nor Cylon, and the ECO couldn't reach it before they were forced to jump away. Our boys took a lot of fire on their way out of that eyeball run. The Cylons know we're coming, so we should expect heavy resistance at the site.
We have to stop them desecrating the Galleon. We can learn firsthand what happened during the Exodus. So many questions can be answered there.
As soon as Galactica landed in Helios Alpha, we received this encoded transmission. Intel made sure to locate and cut the signal as soon as we had it downloaded. Here, have a listen.
Your failures caused them to stir. Watch as your empire crumbles around you, Lachesis.
Silence. You do not talk to me of failure, brethren. God's will be done by my sword.
Your infirm strategy can only be propped up with blunt force tactics for so long. Our supply lines stretch taut, while you refuse to exploit the bounty of resources closest to the fight. Aram Quad S, brethren. God shall find your will lacking.
Galactica Actual. I am Lachesis. You struggle against an immutable future. The might of the Cylon Empire collects within striking distance of your beating hearts. Yet you still pull apart your homes, looking for one more rock you can carve into a primitive blade. I will not ask for surrender. I have attempted warfare, both lawful and not. My weapon would have healed every disorder you have inflicted on God's lands. But like cockroaches, you will not go quietly. Your continued resistance has triggered contingencies within Cylon Command. His will is no longer manifest in me. I would rather find glory for him in combat than subservience under another. You too should consider death a preferable alternative than what is to come. I await Galactica's arrival above Oranu.
Truth is, the first sergeant was right. Once you look behind the curtain, you realize there isn't much to celebrate. Lachesis was a destructive force, but it was also a known factor. This third IL disrupts everything we've known about the war for the last 5 years. Our one consolation? The new arrival is as much an upheaval for Cylon Command as it is for us. We suspected their hierarchy was unstable, but the intel leaks cemented the theory. For what it's worth, I don't believe Klothos leaked those recordings to us. As much as those ILs bickered, it'd take a lot more than a couple of arguments about God to force a betrayal like that. So for now, we continue what we're already doing. Keep Galactica in the air, beat back the Cylons one battle at a time. Keep our people back home safe. Whoever's leaking that intel, they'll show their face. Eventually.